This video feels like a necessity, considering we have challenges completed for Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury without crouching. So we might as well knock out Mario 3D Land, right? The rules are what you'd expect. I have to crouch the entire time, and I'm not allowed to do normal jumps. Basically, as long as I'm always holding the crouch button, that's all that really matters in the end. I simply need to beat the game and take out the final Bowser, as is expected. So like usual, I started playing the game, and this is where I tell you that this level was a piece of cake. Oh, and this one had a tricky thing in it, but I found some sort of epic skip that we highlighted. But Mario 3D Land was different, because right off the bat, it was just way too easy. In fact, it was so easy, I almost debated on canceling this challenge altogether. But you know me, I like to make my life a living hell 94% of the time. So we're gonna add some extra difficulty by also attempting this challenge while playing with my feet. That's right, Wiki Feet, go crazy! But yeah, I'm gonna hold down the crouch button with a rubber band, tape the controller to the ground, and then move around and jump with my toes. I can't wait for this brand new controller I just purchased to break. Foreshadowing, it happened. It did happen. But you know what isn't gonna break? The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, which is today's lovely sponsor. So I've actually used Manscaped in the past and have personally never had any problems with their products. However, the Lawnmower 4.0 can charge wirelessly, is waterproof, and has skin-safe technology to get the best trim. So now it's better than ever. The Performance Package 4.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, and the updated Weed Whacker for trimming nose and ear hair. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping and 2 free gifts when you use promo code Bandy at checkout. The link is in the description. Oh, now we're talking, baby. The struggle actually feels real, especially when I got to the Bowser fight. Avoiding the fireballs was not as easy as it seemed, since making turns required what felt like a lot of movement. I've done this challenge before in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, and like last time, I need to basically scrunch up my feet to be able to push the buttons and move the joystick quickly. Within about 5 minutes, my feet started to ache, and I knew I was in for a good time. Although dying at the very end of Bowser because I kept missing the black button was pretty painful. After about 5 or 6 tries, I managed to clear this level and move on to World 2. 2-1 was fairly simple. Again, the only issue was just my feet cramping up, especially my right foot for some reason, which is strange considering I'm just pushing the jump button. I could feel some pain on my inner portion of my foot underneath my toe, and that's probably because I was curling my foot a little bit so I could make room for the camera and tripod. So you can see the context, I took a picture so you can see just how uncomfortable this setup is, and yes, I am wearing pants, you sicko. Okay, fine, here's another picture just to prove that, but anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked. 2-2 didn't get difficult until the flip panels. The timing is usually pretty fair, but when I'm crouching while also moving very sloppily, it doesn't feel quite so generous, especially in this last section. The only way I managed to get past it was to take some scary shortcuts and try to maintain my speed for as long as possible. But it's difficult because of the different jump heights, so I have to find a rhythm of crouch jumping when I'm going slow enough to ensure I don't overcalculate anything. Because yes, crouch jumping is much faster than just crouch walking. Moving on to 2-3, I ran into my first real dilemma, and that's the fact that I can't propel myself into the air with the propeller box while I'm crouching. I tried clearing the first jump regardless, and while I got close, it wasn't going to be quite good enough. While this might seem like a huge problem, I had one trick up my short t-shirt sleeve, and that was of course the Tanuki suit, since I can float in the air while holding jump. And thankfully, that was enough to clear the entire level. There were some terrifying jumps, like this one where I had to bounce off this Goomba and then land on this tiny blue block without sliding off, but it was all very manageable, which was a relief. 2-4 and 2 Castle was as easy as can be. Even the Boom Boom fight didn't cause much trouble. So next up is World 3, of course. 3-1 was fairly simple, but I learned something fairly particular about 3-2 in the water. When you hold crouch and hit the ground in water, it is impossible to jump. You will literally be glued to the ground unless you manage to make Mario crouch off a gap or get back on land again. I'm not sure if this is some weird oversight, but it's definitely weird, so I just had to make sure I didn't touch the floor. 3-3's donut blocks were pretty annoying to put up with. The reason for that is the speed they fall at can drastically change your jump. It was pretty hard to control if I wanted to do a small or big crouch jump, and they definitely threw me off a few times, but it was definitely possible, and so was 3-4 and 3-5. 3 Castle was going well too, up until the Boom Boom fight, and I'm not sure what it was. Either my aching feet were starting to get to me, or it was the conveyor belt floors, but I kept dying to Boom Boom over and over and over again, and I didn't didn't go in with a larger Tanuki Mario because I was required to damage boost to get past all these spikes. So after a lot of trial and error, I managed to take out Boom Boom, but man, he was a struggle. With that though, we carry on to World 4. Now, World 4 really wasn't that difficult at all. This includes 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, and 4 Airship. Although Pom Pom was giving me some issues. Again, like with Boom Boom, I was having issues just aiming right for Pom Pom's head. It took a few tries, but I eventually conquered to smithereens and moved to World 5 next. Also, my feet were really getting sore now, but I think I was kind of getting used to it. World 5 was looking a lot like the fourth world on the difficulty side, considering I breezed through 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, and 5-4. 5-5, on the other hand, wasn't the same story, since I wasn't able to make this cloud jump. Like, just look, it wasn't even close at all. So I went back in with a Tanuki suit to try again, and because I'm able to glide, I was able to slide and wall jump my way up the first cloud. It took a ton of attempts, but it felt great doing it with my feet. But then the next cloud after that was just way too far away. I stood no chance of reaching this one. Stumped on what to do, I decided to get the propeller hat even though it didn't work last time. Okay? I guess I'm allowed to use the hat with the Tanuki suit on specifically? That makes no sense, but whatever suits you, video game, whatever suits you. Since I was able to use the propeller, I got through the rest of 5-5 pretty smoothly. 5 Castle was a lot more difficult since the sinking platforms were a big pain in the butt. I could navigate them no problem, but I also needed to continuously jump while avoiding spikes and dry bones. That was easier said than done, but I did get through it considering Tail Bowser is another tail all on its own. He's very similar to the other Bowser fight we had, but much more annoying since there were less platforms and the swinging tail attack was tricky to avoid. I really had to be on my toes if you know what I mean. I'm sorry for the dad joke. Just laugh awkwardly, okay? Do that for me. Thank you. Okay. I did learn that I could easily jump over the fireballs with big crouch jumps, so that was pretty useful at least. After a lot of attempts, I barely snagged the edge of Bowser's big black button and finished up World 5. Moving on to World 6, 6-1 was giving me a lot of trouble from the get-go. The Porky Puffers jump swiftly, and as one that can only crouch, I can only go so fast. There were two options on the table. The first is to wait for the Porky Puffers to pass and destroy the bridge, and this works since I could just jump over the gap, but that is until getting to the very end of the stage. The entirety of the bridge was on target to be destroyed by a group of Porky Puffers, and no matter how fast I'd go, I wasn't able to get across without falling. I tried timing out my jumps differently, and I couldn't even manage to land on this last piece of bridge. So my only option was to go back for a Tanuki suit and try again. And while it was possible with the suit, it still wasn't easy. I basically needed to get to the second to last bridge piece, wait a brief moment, jump, float in the air, and then go right. This was the only way I could get through the Porky Puffers without getting hit. 6-2 features a lot of time spike floors. While not impossible, some sections near the end were tricky since I needed to time my jumps really carefully, which again isn't easy when you're using your feet. My left foot in particular was starting to cramp real badly, so it was getting harder and harder to be precise with my movement. Now 6-3 was nothing short of a juggernaut. I haven't played this game since I tried to get all the coins a couple years ago, so I forgot which paths were correct, creating a lot of annoying trial and error. Then I got to this part with a massive boo and a tightrope. I made my way to the door and I didn't go through it. But okay, this massive boo is in the way. Maybe I was just missing the door or something? So I tried again by luring the boo far away from the door, crouched up to it, and wow, it actually just doesn't work. You want to know how many doors I've gone through already? 7! Yes, I actually went through all my footage and counted every single door, and all of them worked, but not this specific purple one for some reason. And look at this, 4-4's door is purple, so what's the deal with this one? I don't know what's going on with this purple door. Maybe it's just throwing a temper tantrum or something, I don't know, but I can't do a damn thing about it. And you want to know what's better? The warps are an absolute joke in this game. There's a warp zone in 1-2, which takes you to World 4, and 1 and 4-2 that takes you to World 5. So they are of absolutely no help whatsoever. And that means that it is indeed not possible to beat Super Mario 3D Land while only crouching, with or without feet. So I reluctantly accepted defeat and decided to move on just to see which levels are and aren't possible. 6-4 and 6-5 were simple enough, but things got spicy yet again with the boss. Pom Pom isn't really difficult, but all this fire made jumping accurately way more difficult than before. before. And for a second, I wasn't sure how I was going to do this with my feet. So I started to do some experimenting and discovered something huge. After hitting Pom Pom, her shell bomb attacks always killed me. So I learned that when crouching and just moving back and forth, I can just barely avoid all of her attacks. I'm not sure why or how this works considering the crouch waddle is so slow, but it made this fight bearable and passable. Moving on to World 7, 7-1 was pretty easy, and so was 7-2, but holy crap did I have some close calls. Like here, as well as right here. Oh, and how did that not kill me? And oh dear God, I should be dead. Ah, get me out of this level, oh my God. 7-3 was a slice of pie. 7-4 was time-consuming, and 7-5 was really grinding my gears. My wooden gears, that is. Inherently, this level would be quite a fun challenge while only crouching. But I don't know what fun is. I'm using my feet right now, okay? The Goombas of all things were causing me trouble because their waddle is faster than my waddle. And there's so many moving pieces everywhere. Like I said, this would have actually been fun if I used my hands like a normal plebeian. 7 Airship is a lot like 7-5. It could have been an absolutely splendid time with my fingies, but no! Instead, I kept falling off the rotating platforms because I don't have toe-eye coordination. Yet. But now that I knew the ultimate strategy against Pom Pom, these duel fights were surprisingly simple and World 7 was done just like that. This spike ball hill part was a bit annoying in 8-1, but that's nothing compared to 8-2. The moving poles were something to write about in the history books. The issue really came down to the poles that started moving above the donut blocks. They moved so fast that it was near impossible for me to catch up to them. The only option I had was to long jump off of the very last donut block and snag the pole that way with a Tanuki suit. You know how much precision this takes with 2 little stubby toes? And that's not all. I have to do the same thing almost immediately after that. This was quite the struggle bus, let me tell you. 8-3 was slightly challenging, while 8-4 was impossible. But why was it impossible? Was it A, controller broke, B, Luigi woke, or C, purple door? If you selected C, purple door, then congratulations, you win nothing. 8-5 was actually kind of fun, but for 8 Bowser, I made a mistake. A mistake that is mistakenly quite a large mistake, because I decided to take on Bowser as Small Mario, which, you know, not the brightest idea of all time. I died an unbelievable amount of times just because of how hard it was to control. I had so much strain on my feet that even my knees were hurting, as strange as that sounds. Like, for real, just avoiding Bowser's tail and landing was a miracle. After that, it was all about learning Bowser's patterns and muscle memory. The only way I could do this was to jump as Bowser's landing, clear his Death Wave and Fireball, and jump over his tail. Then I had to lure Bowser to the left side of the screen for as long as I could, and that gave me just enough time to reach the button and finish the level. Oh my God. I really should have gotten a Tanuki suit for this one. What was I thinking? But thankfully, 8-6 went okay. But it's time, fellas. 8 Final Castle. This was my 3rd day into this challenge, and my feet were just about to put themselves up for adoption. The level itself really wasn't a problem. As you'd expect, it was all about the Bowser fight. And frankly, it's still pretty impressive to this day. I love how dynamic this whole fight is. To put it lightly though, Bowser was hard as balls. Like f***ing bowling balls. This fight was a living nightmare. What made this so brutal was that I needed to keep the Tanuki suit to stand any chance against the second form. That alone took dozens of tries to pull off one time. And when I finally did, I had no idea how much harder the second part was gonna be. Bowser's pink fireballs are larger, more accurate, and also destroy most platforms it blazes through. Things only get trickier when the platforms continue to be elevated higher and higher. I mean, look how tight these jumps are. I have to change up my jump and also avoid the fireball somehow. And then this happened. Thank you. Oh, thank God it's over. My knees were in so much pain that I had to end it for the day. So, I'll tell you guys what. I'm still gonna play through the special levels, but, not with my feet. The reason for that is the strategies are gonna be almost the same since most of the levels are repeats, so I'm gonna play normally and only highlight the interesting stuff. The first one of these interesting levels is Special 1 Castle. Initially going into this, I was really only worried about the timer stages because of how slowly I move when crouching, and that was definitely an issue with this one. The main problem was just the ending due to the massive lack of timers. No matter how much I optimized my run, I simply could not get myself across this bridge because the next timer was so far away. So I decided to use the Tanuki suit for help. It didn't really make me that much faster, but I was able to cut some corners since I could glide around them, and that did did save a precious few seconds, and I'm talking just a few. I mean, look how freaking close I got to the timer I needed. Oh, this one was just pain. Pure, unaltered pain. The last thing I could consider doing is throwing in a couple of long jumps. And here's the thing. I don't know if a long jump should even be allowed to begin with because it's technically not crouching. But I am holding the crouch button the whole time, so that's really up to you to decide if that's allowed or not. But thanks to some well-timed long jumps, I was able to get to the clock I needed with 5 seconds to spare. At this point, all I could do was damage boost through Dry Bowser, and this was as close as I got. One second. I had 1 second to spare. And that was with a few long jumps. If I didn't do that, then this would have been impossible for sure. Every level in Special 2 was easy, and same with Special 3, Special 4, Special 5, and 6-5 has a purple door I can't go through. Again, for no reason. Yeah, purple doors, guess what? They give me nightmares now. Besides that though, the rest of Special 6 was simple, and so was Special 7 until 7 Castle, because oh no, not this level again! Thankfully I don't have to fight Dry Bowser, but Cosmic Mario chases me the entire time, and it is exceptionally obnoxious. Not only do I need to get every single clock, but I can't bonk or get hit because I need the Tanuki suit for the entire level. That is easier said than done. There was nothing in particular that was like really hard. It was just getting a perfect run all in one go that was hard. There were so many barriers I had to avoid, and I couldn't slow down to take my time or I'd lose the Tanuki suit. But it was possible, thankfully. So all that's left is Special 8. Special 8-3 can be summed up in this clip. Yup, that's what the whole level was like. And the rest of Special 8 was fairly easy, and all that's left is Special 8 Crown. And for this level, I did go back to using my feet because I might as well. Look, my dumb video, my dumb rules, okay? Within the second section, I realized I have to hop across these tiny platforms instead of running across them. After that, I had a lot of trouble with just bouncing off these Goombas. Normally, just holding right would be, easy, but the coordination doesn't exist with my toes, so this took a while to get used to. Even just hopping up here was hard to do since the depth perception is so wonky in 3D land. But the real hard part was the raining bob-ombs and fire bars. The thing of the matter is the fact that I need to retain this Tanuki suit as long as possible, preferably until the end so I can damage boost through a bunch of flames. Especially this segment with the falling floor. It was almost impossible to not get hit. The flames patterns are fast, erratic, and not f***ing around. When I finally did get through with a Tanuki suit, it was a blessing since I could blaze through this last part, and with that I was done. I attempted every level of Mario 3D Land while only crouching. Look, you're not gonna believe this, but only 3 of the 96 levels weren't possible. That is the greatest ratio we've ever had. And if it wasn't for the dumb purple doors, I bet every single level would have been possible. That's just insane to me. But yeah, that's about all I got for you guys today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for watching. Until next time. Smash like for Monkey Ball music throughout the whole video. Monkey Ball music pog. Okay, have a nice night. If you're watching this at 4:36 a.m., you leave a comment and let me know. Okay, bye.